Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to that Christian Nerd channel. I'm very happy to be doing a live stream again. It's been a while since I have been able to do one, but we're back, thankfully. So, lot to talk about. I'm really excited for this live stream because this will also be the first live stream where I'm talking about wrestling, which is something I've wanted to do for a while. The NerdVision live streams I have loved, but I have not wanted them to just be about, like, say, Christianity or religion in general and stuff like that. I wanted them to branch out and talk about other things that I'm really nerdy about, which you also see on the channel, like wrestling, potentially like Dungeons and Dragons, among other things. And so, very excited to be able to do this live stream. Before I introduce my guest, who is also a friend of the channel, I will mention a couple of things. So, firstly, I have finally been able to edit and finish up the making of a video that me and another friend of the channel did, where we reviewed a debate between a theistic evolutionist Christian and a young earth creationist Christian. So that was a really awesome video. I'm really excited about it, and that should be up on the channel this week as well. Secondly, speaking of content updates and stuff like that, I just wanted to let anyone know who's watching that may not have seen the video where I announced this. My schedule during March is going to be a little loose because honestly, I'm experiencing a little bit of burnout. So, my I will not be uploading daily content, but I will be focusing more on articles and long form content throughout this month. And then April, I'll do the traditional thing and break for my birthday and for Easter. So that whole month, you will not see daily, at least daily content from me, and possibly not any content at all from me during that month. Another thing I wanted to mention was that I have the next video where I am playing Baldur's Gate 3 on the channel. It's just privated and all that stuff. So I need to edit that video as well and get that up on the channel, which I'm also going to try to do this weekend, is what I'm hoping to do. So be on the lookout for that. And then hopefully a next Baldur's Gate video will come out in the following months. And the final announcement that I have in mind at the moment is that I am still doing content for the Nazarene Church, the Clyde Park Church in Nazarene. I have not been doing it as much lately just because, again, of the burnout and stuff like that. But I want to get back into it. And so I plan on also this weekend getting a video recorded for them that you'll be able to see. It'll be long form content talking about wisdom, the concept of wisdom in the New Testament. And there will also be some short form videos there that I will upload throughout the week as well. So excited for that. I'm really want to get back into that and get back into more of the life of the church there. So now, all of that said, this stream is about something that I love and something that a friend of the channel also loves, which is wrestling. So let me go ahead and bring on my guest, Ryan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
That's awesome. Also, love the championship belt. How
Thank
did
you.
you get it?
Well, I got this from a friend of mine a few years ago, and it's just been with me since then. I've had it kind of stand up on that little shelf right there ever since I moved into my apartment last year, and I've been sitting here with it for a longer duration than Drew McIntyre had his title at WrestleMania. So,
That is actually probably true. Um,
but I had it for like 5 minutes. So.
yeah. You've been on the channel before. You helped me review Spider-Man Lotus, which is a video you guys can see. It's a part of the long form content, and we did a live stream where we talked about. Well, we actually did a live reaction to a fan-made Spider-Man scary movie, a short film, which was also really awesome. Really, really enjoyed that. But now we're here to talk about something that we both love a lot as well, wrestling. So tell us why you have a love for wrestling and why you are a wrestling fan.
I when did I get into wrestling? I first got into wrestling, I'd say late 2015. I remember watching the Raw After Survivor series, and the following month I watched TLC 2015. I had a blast with that show, and I just stuck with it for years. I took a break from, I want to say, 2019 to 2020, 2021, because the product had, it went down the toilet. But now I came back a few years ago, on and off. I kept up with it lightly, but last year was when it really, listen, like 2023 was when I really started to get back into professional wrestling, and I love it. I really do, because it's the, and I tell people this when they say, "Oh, you like, why do you like wrestling?" And I said, it's the perfect synthesis between combat sports, live theater, and comic books. Because if you really think about it, like, wrestling is this whole world of characters and its own mythology
Mm.
that I really gravitate towards, especially now with Triple H at the helm. The product is the best it's been in at least 20 years.
That's really interesting. I love the way that you phrase it as it being a synthesis between these three different things because wrestling is so much.
Oh,
Like I wanted to ask this question. We could get to it, but I think I wanted to ask like what is something that you wish non-wrestling fans appreciated about wrestling? Because I genuinely feel there's a lot of like wrestling bigotry, I almost want to call it, although that might be too harsh of a term, I don't know. But like it is a synthesis. It is so many different things at once, and it's and I don't think that gets like appreciated by a lot of people. But I've been struggling to answer this question because I grew up with a family friend who really liked wrestling, and he had the games and stuff, and so sometimes I played the games. And as a kid, I just really liked that I could create a character and try to murder people with steel chairs. I mean, so for real. So I really like that. But I also remember thinking like maybe like saw a couple clips of Rey Mysterio or something as a kid, and I was like, this is as if Spider Man was in the ring. Like that's how I felt, and so that always kind of had an impression on me. But I didn't really care too much about it until my seventh grade year.
mhm.
Um, in middle school, you might actually remember this because we grew up in the same school.
Yeah.
Excuse me, same school system.
Sports Creek.
Yeah, yeah. I There was a wrestling magazine that was talking about like the best Survivor Series matches or something like that. That was in one of the classrooms. So I remember reading it, and I found like rated RKO, right, the tag team between Edge and Randy Orton. Undertaker. They talked about Undertaker's debut and a couple other things.
Mhm.
Also, sometime around this time, maybe in 8th grade, my dad, showed me an episode of Monday Night Raw, and so it kinda became a father-son thing to watch Monday Night Raw. This was not like a, up-to-date thing. We were watching the Monday Night Raw episodes from, like, 2012 and
Mhm.
2013. But yeah, he showed that to me, and I don't know, I just I clicked with it so much. The Undertaker became my favorite wrestler of all time. I love his character is my favorite thing. The lore, the character, the supernatural stuff. I'm all here for. Um, so I can tell you how I got into wrestling. I can't pinpoint what it is that I love about it, but I'm so emotionally invested. um, and speaking of that emotional investment, I think that it would be good transition to talk about something that hit me emotionally. Uh, so I got into wrestling in 2016. So yeah, yeah, I was starting to, well, yeah, something like that. So
Around this,
like
I did. Yeah.
yeah, so like Goldberg had just come back when I was getting into wrestling.
Mhm.
So John Cena was fading out.
Mhm.
Right. So I never got to see and I haven't like gone back and watched the Raws and the pay-per-views and all this stuff where he's on. So I missed most of John Cena's career. Um, so and basically anything I've seen of him, he's lost. Pretty much, pretty much. So like, uh, I remember kind of getting teary actually because I was very emotionally invested in the fact that this is like John Cena's farewell tour. Because I didn't get to see a lot of it, and now he's gonna leave. So I actually I made that video and I was like, all right, I'm emotionally invested in this. And then I watched uh Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Uh if you guys don't know, I don't know how you would know at this point. Um John Cena turned heel. Uh Now I made a video about this because to express my shock. Um I was not expecting that. In fact, it's really hilarious. I think it's a case in the way our biases can blind us to certain things. Any hint, any hint, anything that I saw that was possibly like, oh, this might happen, like I either ignored it or I reinterpreted it.
Or maybe I want to believe it.
Yeah, like literally up until the final. And for anyone who doesn't know like how important that is, like he was a babyface, a good guy for 20 years, something like that. Like he set the Guinness Book of World Records for longest run as a babyface or a good guy. So, and like the goodest of good guys. Like his character was the embodiment of virtue, righteousness, you might say, was supposed to be at least. And so um, seeing that uh, was a complete shock to me. I mean, I thought Cody was going to turn heel. They planted seeds for that, and apparently that was the original plan. Which uh, I saw a post on Instagram when they were reporting on what a insider was saying, and yeah, apparently that was the original plan, but they changed it and had Cena turn heel, which is phenomenal. But yeah, and so, like, I was following all the hints there, and I was like, anything that might be a hint with Cena, I'm like, well, I explained it away and stuff, but wow. So that did blindside me, and I was literally speechless. Like I could not talk, but the only thing I could think in my head that would parallel this. And it's funny because it got posted on Instagram by a couple of people who, by like wrestling Instagram accounts. Um, they were like memes of, it would say something like how it feels watching John Cena turn heel, and it was Captain America saying "Hail Hydra." um, and so I made a video where I did compare it to him saying "Hail Hydra" or like Superman becoming a dictator and those sorts of things because that's how it like landed with me emotionally,
Mhm.
and, I don't think I'll ever forget that. I really don't.
Yeah.
So, I've ranted. Tell me about how you reacted to that.
There was this one person who was talking about the heel turn, basically explaining to people who don't watch wrestling like what it meant to him. And he mainly to like the like women who don't get wrestling or don't watch wrestling. And he said that imagine if imagine if imagine if Kanye West and Taylor Swift presented like a Grammy for like album of the year, um, and Sabrina Carpenter wins. She goes up on stage, and then Taylor Swift beats her up and allies with Kanye West, and like that's that's the gravity of John's heel turn, right? Um, and like I don't know if it was the plan or if it wasn't. I'm pretty in the know when it comes to like wrestling news and dirt sheets or whatever. I haven't seen anything like that, but you might be right. Um, but like you look back, especially I'd say the Royal Rumble press conference when he comes out and he says, I'm doing what's best for business. I am inserting myself in the elimination chamber. I think in that moment, we should have taken his actions a lot more seriously than we kind of thought they were. Like, yeah, he's been with the company for 20 years. It's a retirement run. Okay, he inserts himself.
That's literally how I rationalized it in my head.
Yeah,
And I completely ignored the best
yeah,
for business line, which is
right.
exactly what the authority were saying, right? Back in the day when Triple H and Steph and all them were bad guys.
That's
That's what they were saying.
Yeah, that's what Seth was kind of going on about after he had betrayed the Shield. But after that, on like the SmackDown before Elimination Chamber, all the guys come out other than Cena, and like you've got Drew and you've got Logan, kind of like talking about how like John's not here, right? Like how dare this guy like insert himself in the chamber and be this individual, but just kind of not work his way to that spot. And like they're heels, but they got a point. And then the moment in the chamber when it's just John and it's Punk, Seth stomps Punk's head into the chamber, and then John immediately grabs Punk like, sorry, sorry, we all should have seen it coming. Because John at this point, he has at that point he hadn't won a match, like a singles match in what, like 2000 days or whatever it was.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So John being as desperate as he is, finally turning really makes sense when you look at what's come before and what they have kind of put out there um, leading up to the chamber. Um, let's see what else. But yeah, it's like it's so shocking for Triple H and creative to finally pull the trigger in his retirement year, because at this point,
Yeah.
like even people who hated John back in the day, even like when they hated him when he was Super Cena, at this point, it's his retirement year, and he's gotten nothing but cheers from the audience because it's like, yes, John, like, have this retirement year, let's go. So to finally
Right.
pull the trigger when nobody is expecting it, nobody is expecting that turn. I think is a not only a brilliant move, but I think it's already gone down as one of the best heel turns of all time. It's got to be up there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was really hilarious. I wish. My friend, who's also a massive wrestling fan, was there with me,
Mhm.
like sitting with me as I was watching, because we were texting each other throughout the night. And his favorite wrestler is John Cena, so he was rooting for him big time. I wanted CM Punk to win the Chamber. So, like, I know me and him would have been all over each other seeing, the conclusion of the match where, as you said, Seth stomps Punk and then Cena chokes Punk out. Um, but so he was so excited, and it was his birthday too. So, like, he was over the moon. John, like, his hero won on his birthday. Like, that's crazy. And then his hero turns heel
Evil.
on
And,
his
like,
birthday.
yeah, and he doesn't turn evil. He demolishes Cody with Rock and also Travis Scott for some reason. He was just there.
Yeah.
I I I wonder what the emotion how what the reactions were of the kids, like the Make a Wish kids who John had likely seen earlier that
Oh,
watching that moment, seeing
dude.
hero who they met 5 hours ago break all their hearts. Somebody online said now he's Break a Wish,
Yeah,
John.
Breakaway Cena. Yeah.
Lost it, dude. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh god. Oh. I
Yeah.
think John, when he comes out, he should have his gear, but there should be nothing on it. It should just be a black shirt, black bands, and a black hat. Not like
Oh,
just completely blank. That's what
yeah.
I don't need him to have a whole attire makeover. Like I don't need him to shave his head. I don't need him to come out in this. I mean, he can come out in a suit, but like I think taking the iconic attire of John and just like draining it of all of its like iconography and just leaving this
Yeah.
void. They should do that because I think that'd be cool.
And
And
be symbolic, right? It's
yeah,
yeah.
um, yeah, I still can't believe it. And Raw next week is must watch because John and Cody are going to be in
Yes.
the room or the
Yes.
same ring.
I'm good. Very excited. I'm very intent on watching that, and I'm very happy that even though there will be a time change for this coming Monday
Yeah,
Night Raw,
at 3 p.m.
that it will be at 3 p.m. because I will be out of my classes and lunch will be over at that point. So I will have like a little bit of time to do some homework, and then I'm jumping straight to Raw.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, very excited about that. And yeah, it was it was insane
It was.
being there. Yeah. Uh, it was interesting because my roommate, I watched it again, and my roommate watched it with me, and he's not nearly as into wrestling, and so didn't fully understand the gravity of the event, but he still had a very strong reaction
Oh yeah.
to it, which was nice to see.
Mhm.
Because like if it's translating to like non wrestling fans too, then not all of them obviously, but some of them, then I personally think you really got something.
Because John at this point, he's bigger than WWE. He's an actor, he's a celebrity. Um, so that the whole world knows who this guy is, even if they're not wrestling fans. And
Right.
I want to say as an off note, Punk's promo on Raw after Gamer,
Oh,
mwah,
dude.
he called both Rock and John bald frauds. And
Yes.
bald person, I was like, hell yeah, Punk. Tell him, go talk like
That you
talk your talk your thing, King.
yes, you can feel the anger on it. Oh man. Um
You
I
you
hit
can't see me, well, we can all see through you. I was
yes,
like, yeah, talk, Punk.
dude, yes. And then him dissing him bringing up Becky Lynch and dissing Seth.
Then come get your man.
Yes.
There's not gonna be anything of him left. But yeah, the John Cena heel turn, I think it's already one of the greatest wrestling heel turns of all time. Uh,
Yeah. I
incredibly well
just
done.
imagine if he imagine if he loses at WrestleMania.
I don't think he will.
I
I think
he
Cena.
can't.
No, he can't. He can't lose now because of the heel turn. Like
Yeah.
loses, the heel turn is just like done. Like
Right.
and then
There was no point.
yeah, by the end of the year, I think Cody will take it back. Maybe at I don't know SummerSlam or another pay per view. Because I actually have an idea for where I want next year's WrestleMania to go. But
Interesting.
that's later on probably.
Yeah, yeah. So speaking of WrestleMania, how we liking how this WrestleMania is shaping up? So it looks like it'll be CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins in a triple threat match. We'll have um EO. I'm gonna call her Shirai because that is a much better last name.
I
And
will
they
I
literally
won't
said
lie.
on commentary at one point, Eel Sky, like the genius of the sky, Eel Sky, and I'm just like, that doesn't hit the same.
That doesn't hit the same. Yeah, I it was. I don't know if you saw that one video of Otis saying that he for the longest time he thought that EO was what was it like Ian Sky or something, and
Ian Sky.
he had a big laugh. He was like, "You thought her Ian Sky for this long time," and Otis was like, "Hey, she never changed it." She was just like, "Oh, yeah, thank you,"
That
which I
is so funny.
but yes,
So we'll get Io Sky versus Bianca Belair for the uh is it
so
Raw or SmackDown Women's
it
Championship?
world. Okay, so on Raw, it's the World Women's Championship, and on SmackDown, it's the WWE Women's Championship because that's the one with the
Yeah,
logo.
gotcha.
um,
Okay.
yeah.
'Cause, yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, so that'll happen, looks like, and then, Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton.
Yep.
I'm I'm intrigued. I think they're both really athletic. I think they're gonna put on a great match.
Yeah.
I just hope Charlotte loses. Not I and that's nothing against her. I love her wrestling. I love the figure eight.
Mhm.
That's and my favorite women's match of all time is the this is a throwback. Like I was whiplash when I watched this pay-per-view. The 2018 Evolution pay-per-view, the all women's
Mm,
pay-per-view. It was Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch in a last women's standing match that I love that match.
ooh, I should
So,
go. Okay.
Yeah, it's really weird to go back and watch it because like, Liv Morgan is on the Riot Squad.
Oh, she was still good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Mickey James and Trish Stratus are, like, coming back for a
Yeah.
match. Like, Ronda Rousey wrestled Nikki Bella. Like, it's kinda weird to watch it back, but it's a good pay-per-view. But, yeah, that's my favorite women's match of all time. So, nothing against Charlotte, it's just like, you know, she didn't need it.
No.
Well, I should say that differently. The character didn't need it.
Mhm,
Maybe she as the person did, because you can tell, you can see the emotion
mhm.
on her, and in the promo she did afterwards, like, it meant a lot to her
Yeah.
personally as a human, and, fair enough. I can't hate on that. So, I'm excited.
Mhm.
Uh, but I do think Tiffy winning this could be really awesome for her.
Oh God, Tiffany winning would is such a better choice because like the build has been very whatever for those two, but you know the match is going to be good because
Yeah.
in the ring like crazy. Tiffany needs to win because like she needs it way more than Charlotte. Like it's that Mania stage. She wasn't at WrestleMania last year, was she?
I don't think so.
She wasn't. Yeah, so she needs that win on that stage, so much more than Charlotte does. Like part of me is thinking Charlotte's probably going to win it, but I'm still going to predict that Tiffany retains because that's this much smarter decision. Um,
Then we have Gunther versus Jay Uso.
mhm, mhm.
So I'm my emotions are mixed. I'm a always been a glass half full kind of guy. I'm generally optimistic. So I think they're gonna put on a great match. That's fine. Um, but like, uh, so there's part of me that's like, this is gonna be David versus Goliath. Great. But there's another part of me that's like, they've had like what 3 or 4 matches already.
They just wrestled each other at Saturday Night's main
They
event.
had yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and I watched that one, and, like, the match was good, but, Jay lost
yeah,
again.
yeah.
So, but that's part of the, David versus Goliath, that's part of the underdog thing, right? And everyone loves an underdog, and I don't, I'm thinking Gunther's gonna lose because I don't think Gunther's won a WrestleMania match.
He did. He won the triple threat at 39.
Oh, that's right,
That,
I forgot about that.
that
That no,
oh
that
man,
match was awesome. I forgot about that, but he did lose against Sami Zayn for the
yeah,
Intercontinental title.
yep, he did. And
Yeah, so
I mean Jay at this point, I'd say he's taking the title. I really like Jay. I
I
really do
do.
think like the way that he's so over with the crowd blows my mind. You
My non-wrestling roommate, my non-wrestling fan roommate will do the yeet.
yeah, come
Like,
on. Yeah,
he's hyped when he gets on screen.
yeah. I would love to see Jay Uso live at like a wrestling event. But yeah, like the booking of this feud is again, it's been a little weird. I don't really know why the Alpha Academy is involved, but we'll have to see where that ends up. Um,
Yeah, I'm patient for it. I like that you kinda get the feel that, like, Gunther is kind of the big bully, and
oh
he's not just bullying Jay. Like, he's doing it to your other favorites, like the
yeah,
Alpha Academy, you
he's the
know?
yeah, he's the wrestling purist. He's like um he's got this very like tribalism viewpoint of what wrestling is, and that's why I think he and Jay are solid, I think, like counterpoints to each other because you've
Right.
got who's who's improved as a singles competitor since I'd say WrestleMania. But he definitely gets by on the crowd because they really like him as a person and as just kind of personality. And you've got Gunther, who's just a total machine in the ring.
Yeah.
Um, and he really doesn't like the fact that he's going up against a guy who stands for basically everything that Gunther hates. Um,
Right. So,
but
and which is cool because if stories are meant to tell messages, then the message of that story, if Jay wins, is
Yeah.
that yeah, you know, wrestling tribalism is dumb. Uh,
Yeah.
that wrestling is more than just one thing.
Mhm.
And to be a wrestler is to be is in a lot of cases to be more than one thing.
Yeah.
Um, so which is awesome. Uh, so I think that's all of the one. Can we get the tag matches?
Cody versus John.
Can we? Yeah. Oh yeah, Cody versus John.
Yeah.
But real quick side tangent, can we get the tag titles on Mania?
What?
Can we get the women's minor titles, the US and Intercontinental title on Mania too?
I really hope so. Here's the thing with the tag titles. They were defended at the Royal Rumble. It was a good match between those two, almost crickets until like the very end. Because I don't know what Triple H's problem with the main roster tag division is, but those titles up until the Royal Rumble were not defended since WrestleMania on a pay-per-view, which is crazy because if you want people to care about those titles, you got to have them be defended on pay-per-view. The women's tag team titles, I think were defended since WrestleMania 2 3 times on pay-per-view, which that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
We get more love for the men's tag titles too because
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird because I mean you've got DIY, you've got
Oh my
the
goodness.
Motor City Machine.
Yeah. Dude, I popped. Cause I wasn't watching the events at the time when they came, but I I had a TNA DVD that was like
Yeah.
the best of TNA from 2007, I think it was. And the Motor City Machine Guns were there, and that's how I got introduced to them. And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I love this tag team." I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know what it is, but I'm here for it. So yeah, very excited to see
They're
them.
they're your favorite tag team's favorite tag team. They're right about it. They're right about all that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, hey, speaking of TNA, how crazy was it seeing Joe Hendry in the Rumble? TNA World Champion, Joe Hendry. If Vince, I wonder how close Vince was to having a heart attack if he saw that, because for the longest time, you did not mention the competition under Vince's WWE. You did not mention them, and now they just had the TNA World Champion in the Royal Rumble to a huge pop. Oh my God, that pop!
They're in WWE 2K14. Um, there's a line on commentary anytime you do like a no DQ Extreme Rules match where um, Jerry Lawler says, "Yeah, this match I was the only good thing to come out of that extremely crappy wrestling that we used to have to watch." like, like
Of course,
so,
Jerry.
like they're beating a literal dead horse.
Literally,
In their own game.
yeah,
So, it's really nice to go from stuff like
yeah.
that
Vince is
to
petty, so petty.
yeah, to what they're doing. And yeah, now that you bring that up, circling back to the tag thing, I've been watching NXT because it's free on the CW app, the of course, the day after, but still. And that match between the Hardy Boys and Praxium was awesome.
I should, I should, I should. I don't watch NXT typically, but if I trust your word, I might.
I think there was more love for the NXT tag division right now.
Oh,
And I
oh,
think the Hardy Boys being there with the TNA tag titles, helped that, but, Praxium's had a long title reign, and
they have.
they they're really good,
They they've had those belts since when, like July, June? Could
something like that.
yeah. Um,
It's been really nice. I've always loved, NXT. My one of my favorite like, say what you want about Raw and SmackDown from 2016, 17
late
to 2019, 2020, but, NXT popped
yeah,
during that time. Like,
black
that whole span of time was, oh, so much
black
to talk about from that era.
black gold NXT is some of the best professional wrestling ever done. Ever. Like top to bottom, the tag division, the men's world title division, oh my god, the women's division. The women's division now in NXT.
Oh, yeah,
Boom.
yeah,
Oh my god. Like
yeah. So, A lot to talk
Dana
about. A lot
Parker,
to talk about.
will you marry me?
Yeah.
Woo!
But we gotta talk about that final match at WrestleMania. That we're aware of at the moment. Again, we're hoping tag titles. The minor, I mean, they just debuted the women's Intercontinental, women's United States Championships. So it'd be nice to see them at Mania because this will be their first time at Mania. But uh, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. This is the old face versus the new face, as they've said. Um, I mean, like we said, Cena kind of has to win. Otherwise, I feel like all the wind is going to be blown out of the sails of. I feel like if Cena loses, it will be a mistake to the level of something like having Nexus lose when Cena made that call way back in what was it 2011, 2012?
And
10? Okay, yeah, 2010. Or when or uh there was another one I was just thinking of that I couldn't um I just had it and I completely lost it. But yeah, like a real like Bray Wyatt, the stop start stuff. That's what I was gonna mention. Rest in peace. The stop start stuff with Bray Wyatt with like losing to John Cena too at Mania. Which was later brought up right in that pandemic era cinematic match that they
oh,
had
oh my God.
where yeah, it was like alluded to that like it's kinda because of you that I ended up, the way that I was.
we
So
we, I when Bray, his whole thing about like we know you don't really care about the future, you just care about yourself, and that's come around now. I don't think. Here's the thing, right? Like people talking about how, oh my God, like WWE, like long-term storytelling. Vince didn't have any plans for that. Let's be real here. Vince McMahon did not have any plans for any of what has happened in the past to come around being important, because like he didn't do it in the 2010s. Like Vince treated the fans like they had the memory of a goldfish. Like he would start stories and then end them after 2 weeks.
that's one of my most frustrating things. That was one of my most frustrating things about wrestling in general is
Yeah,
that I want the fact that this happened 2 years ago to matter now. Like there needs to be continuity. Otherwise, what's the point? You know?
right.
So yeah, that definitely did bug me. And I'll be really honest with you. There was a decent period of time where I was like, oh, fans are just, they just need someone to hate, so they're gonna hate on Vince. But like, he's probably not that bad. He's helped create some of the best wrestling moments of all time, right? And to give him his flowers, he has.
He has.
But I think I've listened to several, wrestling interviews. That's one of my favorite things to do now is just listen to wrestlers talk about their experience. Um, and hearing people even just like allude to the way things were under the old establishment and the way things are under the new establishment is totally different. Like Undertaker was talking about it, how like it was complete chaos in the back, and like now people are so calm and they're like making TikToks, he said,
Yeah.
in the back. Like there's nothing to worry about.
No, that wouldn't have flied 50.
No.
Absolutely not. Because wrestling back in the day worked off kind of like a hierarchy system. Like if you were here and like you're talking to a guy who's here, like you treat them with the utmost respect. You buy drinks for them, you get stuff for them. It was very much like that. Now it's like everybody's kind of equal. Like
Yeah.
even if you're Cody Rhodes and you're like Akira Tozawa, right? No disrespect to Akira, but
He's low key underrated. Like
he oh no, he is. He
just
is.
because he does comedy doesn't mean he can't wrestle.
Oh, he can.
Yeah,
Oh, excuse me. But everybody kind of treats each other with the same respect, which I do really
yeah.
appreciate.
There was so Maeve. I love this is one of the topics too we were going to talk about. I love Maven's YouTube channel. Maven is a former WWE wrestler. Wrestled there for like 5 6 years. Um, he was one of the wrestlers where you just kind of like okay, you know what have you. And wasn't like super successful, kind of like mid card at best. Um, eh, but he's talked a lot on his YouTube channel's phenomenal, and he's talked about a lot of different things. And he talked about how like there was definitely the vibe in the back that you're performing for an audience of one.
Mhm.
Like if you're impressing Vince, then that's that. If you're not, then you know it doesn't really matter what other wrestlers are saying and stuff like that. Um, which is very unfortunate. But
Yeah.
all that said, going back to Mania, yeah, I like Cena. Cena has to win, and
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna hurt Cody at all,
Oh.
which is the
Oh.
interesting thing, because
Oh.
we think about it a lot of times when you lose a wrestling match, it hurts in some sense, not just physically, but like the character, the storytelling, something. But yeah, I think if you have a babyface in Jey Uso and then the heel in Cena, that'll also be good, you know, polar opposite TV telling for a while too.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna hurt Cody at all. Like Cody is the quarterback of the company. He's their most loved baby, like pure baby face since probably Stone Cold. And I like people loved Cena earlier on in his babyface career, but as the years went by, um, the more the hardcore wrestling fans started to kind of see through the the fruity pebble colored
Mm,
uh, uh, attire and just see like, oh, the company is just propping up this one guy. What about all these other people? That's not the case anymore because the roster, in terms of like star power, it's
dude.
huge.
Yeah.
Like it's not just Cody anymore. Like you've got all these other people. Like
Yeah.
he's the quarterback, but he's not the only guy who gets anything.
Yeah.
That's why, and
Go
that's why, like, no matter how many times people talk about, oh, the Cody heel turn is going to be immaculate, it probably will. But when he said, "Hey, Rock, go f yourself," I knew. Like,
dude,
knew.
I
I
jumped off my couch, literally.
popped like crazy. I
Yeah.
was like, "That's my goat."
Yes.
Because I've got, dude,
Oh, the nightmare. Yeah.
I've got the American Nightmare tattoo on my hand. That's how much I like this guy.
No, that is really awesome. Um, I Yeah, we'll circle back to it. We'll circle back to it. So, super excited about WrestleMania two-night event. I love NXT, so I'll be watching the NXT show that they're going to be having around
And
WrestleMania time as well. Um, so super excited about that. So it is Women's History Month. So I wanted to talk about women's wrestling. I already mentioned it. My favorite women's wrestling match is that the Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair at Evolution. Um, I for the longest time I thought that pay per view was actually called Evolution because I guess I thought they were more creative than they actually are. Um, actually were at the time. But I guess that's just what the fans were calling it because it was an all female pay per view, especially in response to the fact that women couldn't be on the Saudi Arabia pay per views sucked.
you know,
Um,
Evolution.
yeah, I literally thought because I that'd be so clever, right? Like,
Yeah, well,
but evolution works too,
yeah, Evolution better.
I
Get more like, oh man, it would be really dumb if they called it devolution because like back in the day, um, no, back in
yeah,
like, early 2000s, that like the company would call their female wrestlers divas, and it was kind
yeah,
of stupid. But
yeah.
uh,
I mean, they did that all the way up to 2013 or
20,
2014.
2015, 2016, yeah, that's when the hashtag give divas a chance because it was after like a 2 minute match, 2 minute tag match on Raw, and it was so bad that people took to Twitter and the whole world was tweeting give divas a chance because women's wrestling was just like it wasn't being respected, it wasn't being promoted, and in the back half of the 2010s, that's when women's wrestling or at least Western women's wrestling finally became a respect uh,
S-
thing.
So, not to say because they definitely did. Not to say that TNA didn't. Um, uh, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a better way of saying it. sexualizing their female superstars, at least some of them. I mean, some of them that was their gimmick. Obviously, you have to consent to that sort of stuff, so whatever. But
You remember Let
not
the
to say that they didn't, but I think for a little while TNA had WWE be in the women's division. I think the Knockouts,
oh
from what I understand, from what I saw, the
yeah.
Knockouts division was way better than the Divas division in WWE,
I'm just
for a
looking.
while.
Look at the name. Knockouts versus Divas.
I
Like,
mean, right, right. There was that. You had Gail Kim, Awesome Kong was there. I think there's a lot of great people there. And one of the things I appreciate about AEW too is that that's that's not necessarily their women's division. They didn't have that like initial time of we're just not going to appreciate your wrestling capabilities. Um, and that might sound kind of harsh, but like SmackDown versus Raw 2006 had a bra and panties match, because that's what was on television. They
yep.
weren't wrestling. They were there to show you their bodies, and that's how it was treated in storylines. Edge was, I mean, Lita was Edge's eye candy. Uh,
Oh, she was more than just eye
I
candy.
mean, yeah, like yes, but also, and that's not to
Yeah.
disrespect Lita. She did great.
Oh,
She was one of the people that broke that helped break
yeah.
that barrier,
I
and like
that in just the sense of like the live celebration,
yeah, I mean yeah, right, like yeah.
live,
So
live television in front of thousands of people there watching those two.
wasn't that the highest
Oh,
rated Raw of all time for a while because Edge and Leader were gonna get it on in the ring?
that wouldn't surprise me. That would
I
not surprise
I
me.
I thought I think it was for a while. So yeah, but yeah, the scene where how it's evolved has been great. Um, and I've been able. I'm really glad that I caught it. I started watching wrestling and caught the women's division at a time where that was being faded out because I don't know if my moral sensibilities um would uh would be able to take it, but yeah, one of the most some of the most frustrated I've ever been listening to an interview was when Michelle McCool, going back to her. If you don't know, she's the Undertaker's wife. She's a former WWE wrestler herself. Has some iconic moments, some legendary stuff. She's going in the Hall of Fame this year, so which is awesome. Love that for her. She said that her and Layla, what's her name?
Lay cool.
Yeah, I think those two had a match.
Oh, they're
And
tag. They were a tag team. Yeah, Michelle
yeah, they
McCool.
were a tag team.
Uh,
But they had a match. I believe it was against each other. She said, and it's on like Chris Van Vliet's YouTube channel. Awesome wrestling YouTube channel. Go check him out. He interviews celebrities and wrestlers. But so they go back though, and someone tells them, higher up, that yeah, you said, I'm talking about, so that that their punches that they were throwing looked better than the guys, so
mhm.
they need to go back out and do their match again and throw worse punches. And Chris Jericho, awesome dude, great wrestler, great musician too, by the way. He, you know, went to bat for them, and so did other people
Yeah,
apparently. But at the end of the day, they went out and did their match, and
yeah.
I just don't get it. I just from I I mean, but I guess if you're working on a model off of a concept that um the men and the women's wrestlers are there to entertain, but the men are there to do the wrestling and the matches. The women are there to look good for everyone. Um, I mean, even it's still irritating to hear Jerry Law's commentary in 2K14 because he'll still like make comments that are PG, but still
But like, yeah,
implicitly, and um, so, but it is really nice to see that, and it's nice that like for some of the women's wrestlers, it can still kind of be a part of their character. It's just PG and it's not the whole of who they are. Like like Naomi, I think is a really good example of that. Like she's a good wrestler, and also I'm hype, by the way, for the storyline
Oh
between
yeah.
her, Bianca, if Bianca's still going to be a part of it,
Oh yeah.
and what's her name?
Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill.
Jade
Yeah,
Cargill's gonna turn Naomi into dust when they.
dude. Yes, but that
Hey,
when there
Jade
were
Cargill, will you marry me?
I mean,
Uh,
there were comments saying like, "This is cinema." Like, Bianca and Naomi are legitimately crying.
yeah,
Like you can like that would not have happened
no, dude,
10 years ago.
yeah, Bianca's reaction to Jade attacking Naomi at the chamber, I love it. Like she gives such a
Y-
genuine, just like crazed, it's just shocking reaction. She's very emotional while she's doing it. I really love that moment.
Yeah.
But dude, like the women's division. So what's the question that you're trying to ask here?
Oh, I was just I just wanted to gush over the women's wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love it just as much as the guys. I don't have um yeah, it's just they're on equal playing fields for me. I will say, um if which they've done, if WWE is going to bring back mixed gendered wrestling matches for WWE 2K25, they need to have it in the company too. I feel like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because um one of the things that does occasionally frustrate me about uh women's wrestling still is that uh like if Ray or Ripley and Dominic Mysterio get into a conflict, you know how that's going to turn out.
Oh yeah. She's gonna.
Because you not even just because it's Rhea Ripley and you believe that someone like Rhea Ripley could maul someone like Dominic Mysterio. It's also because you know that the company doesn't have men fighting women.
Unless you're Randy Orton. Uh,
Unless you're unless you're yeah,
yeah.
unless you're Randy
He'll,
Orton.
he'll his RKO rated for everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Fair.
but like that's a very fair assessment, and I do think that if they were to maybe not change it, but like be a little bit more liberal with it in the future, I think that would be beneficial. Because like, can you imagine Dominic Mysterio like hitting Rhea Ripley with a chair? Booze forever. Booze
Dude,
for the
the
rest
heel
of
heat, man. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
if they okay, so a few things come to mind. Number one, I think the match at Mania is going to be Bianca, Io, and Rhea. They're going to add Rhea somehow, or Io is going to be like, if
Oh,
I got to get the respect of taking on both of you, I'll do it. Let's have this triple threat. If they have that match, that could be match of the weekend because like Rhea, Bianca, and Io Sky, yes.
dude,
Uh,
yeah.
and if they do it, the other thing, if they do a mixed tag kind of thing they did a few years ago, you got to pair Jay and Rhea together. You got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do
Yeah.
Rhea and Damon, but like Rhea and Jay, it just makes sense. Um, but the thing with women's wrestling is that like so. What do I want to say about this? I agree with pretty much everything you said. Women's wrestling in the past 10 years has reached a level of popularity and prestige that wouldn't have been possible 15 years ago. And I mean, you had your trailblazers back in the day. You had Trish Stratus, you had Lita, or at least WWE. I'm sure. I mean, Japanese wrestling is different, and you had your knockouts. But when it comes to WWE, you had Lita, you had Trish Stratus, China, AJ Lee. I would say
Oh, AJ Lee and Paige
Paige. Yep.
should have stayed 5 years, 5 more years.
Oh,
I mean, there's a lot of reasons why they didn't, obviously, but man,
mm-hmm.
they would have been right up there with
It
the
would
four horsewomen, I think.
it would have been perfect for each other. But regardless, and then you had Charlotte and Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks coming in, and you had this whole women's revolution, which, well, granted, it was from the same company that kept its female
Yeah,
wrestlers.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's funny looking back when Stephanie McMahon is like, "We are ushering in the next stage of women's wrestling." It's like, who kept the women's wrestlers in your company down?
Right.
Like, whatever, doesn't matter. Point is, since then, I mean, we've had a host of great women's matches and feuds and moments and all of that. I think the few that come to mind, and this is just off the top of my head, um, I mean, you've got Charlotte versus Sasha in their Falls Count Anywhere match. You've got
Yeah.
the triple threat at Mania 32. Not a good WrestleMania. That was my first WrestleMania. It is a bad show, but that match, wrong winner.
The
And
Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda?
Sasha.
Oh, the
30.
yeah, 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 yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
I'm still not sure if Charlotte should have won that match, but that match was terrific. Match of the night by far. You've got God, you've got Bailey and Sasha Banks' matches in NXT.
Dude,
And as
their history,
oh
like,
my
they're attached. I hope Sasha can come back because it's gonna be a. I think it could be a Austin Rock might be the wrong analogy, but it's gonna be that kind of thing where like those two are attached to the hip
yeah,
in their
yeah.
careers.
I mean, recently, Rhea Ripley has just been, she's one of the biggest stars in the company. Her match
Yeah.
with Charlotte at Mania 39, I would pen as one of the best women's matches ever.
Was that the 2020 Mania?
That was the 2023.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, their match,
Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
they clobbered the hell out of each other. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got also Sasha versus Bianca Belair, which I haven't watched, but I've seen clips and it's awesome.
Oh, that was a really awesome match.
Yeah.
I watched that Mania, and that was really awesome. It was really cool to see, um, because obviously we talk about women's wrestling and the fact that they had to break down barriers, right? And different ethnic groups have also had to break down barriers in wrestling. JD McDonough talked about that with European wrestlers. So, give them their flowers too. But like to see like two black female wrestlers putting on a show like that was phenomenal. Yeah.
And recently, look at the work of Io Sky. I mean, she has consistently had match of the night, dude. That match she and was it she and Dakota had with Liv and Raquel a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Her match with Bianca. This was it this year? Again, match of the night, Io Sky. I'm so happy that people are finally giving her the respect she deserves because she has deserved it. Like Io
Yeah.
is one of the best wrestlers in the world, at least one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. She had that incredible match with Bailey last year, and Nia Jax last year. Still not a giant fan, but she improved tremendously
She
last.
won she won me over.
Yeah,
She
she
won
was.
me over. I was not I think I'm trying to figure out why too. I mean, obviously, because wrestling fans, right? We're very obviously we're sitting here. We're very loud about what we love, and but we're also like loud about what we don't like. Definitely, at least, I mean, definitely in the stadiums, but you see that online too. And so that might have been part of it, honestly. But um, I I think a concern that I still have that I saw with Naya for a little while was that it was hard for me to get behind. Like, I love the women's matches and some of the stories. It's sometimes hard for me to get behind characters. Not anymore. That's also changed. Like, I love a lot of the wrestling characters they have now, but for a while that was the case. And so with Naya, I just felt like she was just the big dude archetype that we've seen over and over again in wrestling, except a female. And like Awesome Kong did it better. So I think that was my thing. But after she got a lot better, um, they told some good stories. We see um, uh, 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 the storyline that was going on with her and Tiffany Stratton and stuff. Um, so yeah, she kind of won me over in that regard. And like every division, except for like cruiserweights, they need their big person. You know what I mean? And
And
that's not an insult. Like that's like
right,
she's a great. Uh, I
monster.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah
And I think her matches with Bailey last year, because Bailey I think is the perfect opponent for Nia, because Bailey is just big enough to be like, or I'd say tall enough to be considered like a credible threat. Because like if you put Nia Jax in the ring with like Lyra Valkyria, it's probably going to be a solid match because Lyra Valkyria is a good wrestler.
they
But
they did have a solid match, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
King and Queen of the Ring, dude. Oh my God, Lyra got squashed that match. I keep
Damn.
thinking of that one spot where she's like trying to powerbomb Nia, turns like goes back up, and then Nia just crushes her.
I
Yeah.
She scares me, bro. She
Scares
scares
me.
me every time she does the annihilator. I get scared.
Yeah, especially when she just like drops on her, like she doesn't just like land, kind of stops herself with her leg. No, she just straight up lands on him like.
Yeah.
Mhm. But yeah, those matches that those two had were very good. Bailey is kind of getting to that point where like she can have a decent match with anybody. She had a decent match with Raquel Rodriguez this previous Raw. Like it wasn't anything crazy, but like you could pull a good singles match out of Raquel. I don't like Raquel. I'm sorry.
Wild. That's funny.
I don't think she's great in the ring. I don't know what her character even is. I think she's great up.
Yeah. And again, that's
Um,
and I think that's why I've been rooting. At least privately, I don't know if I made a video about it, so I'm probably gonna clip this. Keep that in mind, me. Um, I really need a female supernatural character that's like successful. Because there was Abaddon in AEW,
hmm,
but I don't think she was super successful. I don't think she,
right.
in terms of like titles and whatnot.
They tried
Um, and I and there was Wendy Chu,
Windy Chu, yeah.
who apparently her and someone else who I can't remember the name of for the life of me had the first women's casket match um a little while ago. So I did not know that. I That was a complete shock to me. I
Was
didn't know
it
women were having casket matches.
was it in NXT?
I think.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think, yeah. Yeah. But so this will actually be a good transition into something else I wanted to talk about. So WWE Evolve, it has come out on Tubi. So in the states and then YouTube internationally. So I don't know about you, but I've been watching it and I've been enjoying it. It is uh I think it got described online by fans as NXT's NXT.
I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna grab something to eat real quick. I'm just getting out.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Um, but so for those who don't know, so WWE had this sort of developmental brand or program called Evolve, and they've had this for years, and some big names have actually been in Evolve and have come out of it to be on NXT and on the main roster. Street Profits had matches at Evolve, um, so did others, but um, they recently made a deal with Tubi, and are using Evolve as a part of what they call their ID program or independent wrestling program, where they're having wrestlers that are on the what's called the independent circuit or these various small like promotions and shows uh, to wrestle at Evolve and possibly get a chance of being in NXT on Raw and SmackDown. And some people who have been on one of those three brands are also wrestling in Evolve. It's a small show. It's like 48 minutes on YouTube, so it's not even an hour long. Um, uh, but I've enjoyed it actually, and there are a couple of people that have already made an impression on me. Wendy Chu is one of them. Like I enjoyed the small match that she had there. And I really hope that we can get a really good supernatural women's wrestling character because I think there's there's still a little bit of a push that women's wrestling characters need to do where they're not just um they're not just the not even the like just the sexualized female or anything like that. Um but they're not just the pretty girl
Yeah,
that's there.
their storylines aren't as restrictive
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
almost all of the main women's storylines are just for the titles. We need kind of one where just two women just hate each other. Speaking of hate, Roman, Seth, and Punk is going to be the most hate fueled match since Punk versus.
Man.
We should
Man, yeah.
add Drew into that match just to make it a four-way of just pure hatred. Just four guys who cannot stand each other. Um, but I
Yeah.
wanted to bring that up earlier. But you know, I haven't watched Evolve, and I don't think I will, just because like I'm watching too much wrestling as it is. I can't. I
No,
got.
that's fair.
Um, but no, I hope the Evolve performers end up on the right path because there's some pretty darn good talent in NXT and TNA that have kind of worked together recently. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
one
So,
who's one who's been catching my eye is Javon Evans. That
yeah,
that guy has a good future.
I'm very hopeful for him as well.
Bouncy.
Yes. 100%. Someone else, so there's 2 other things I wanna talk about with Evolve, maybe 3. Um, and I'll just mention real quick because I know you haven't seen it. So, uh, there's a indie wrestler who's actually been wrestling for, like, 6, 7 years, named Kylie Ray,
Hmm.
and I immediately love her. She, uh talk about Javon Evans and having a smile. Her gimmick is that she's like a very optimistic, very happy individual.
Kind of like Bailey.
Yeah, and like it I actually really love that because, obviously out in culture and WWE wants to have their finger on the pulse of culture, right? Like Triple H and us have talked about that. That's why they have all these celebrities and stuff at the shows. Um uh uh Obviously there's a rise in like depression, anxiety. My class, some of my classes and some of the academic work you see, have talked about a sort of meaning crisis where there's a lack of meaning, where people are having houses but not homes, that those sorts of things. And so um, people just want to be, I mean, among other things, people just want to be like genuinely happy, and to see someone who kind of embodies that, especially if Bailey is not gonna go back to her hugger gimmick, which was a little bit different. It wasn't like pure happiness. It was, um, I think, connection more embodies that character. But um, to see someone who sort of embodies the happiness that I think a lot of people are kind of wanting in this current culture, I think is great. I think in WWE should utilize that. Um, and the match was pretty cool, but yeah, her gimmick definitely took me. Um, And finally, I'll mention one thing that there's a tag, well, a stable, I guess, because there's 3 members. They're heels, so and they are very good at irritating you. I think their tag team is called Swipe Right, and so their gimmick is that they are the cute, attractive, pretty boys that you're gonna swipe, that your moms, that your girl is gonna swipe right on. That's their character. And like they're very smug and prideful about it. So I immediately was like, I don't like this.
They and Pretty Deadly would get along pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah. But it left an impression on me. I don't remember everything from the Evolve shows already, just because my memory sucks. But I definitely remember those 3. Um, I forget his name, but there was also like a big black like powerhouse wrestler. I didn't know how I was gonna say. In Evolve as well. And I'm gonna be so for real. He gives me bootleg Obafemi vibes. and that is and
Illegal.
that is not to hate. I think he's cool. I like Obafemi, but like he even looks like him. Like I want to see if I can pull up a picture. Uh, but yeah, he looks. Um,
I love the one
is it?
promo that Obafemi did after he won the NXT title, where he kind of like he drops the what like Nigerian accent. He's like, you hit people who say, I never believed I could do it, and then he goes back to his Nigerian accent. I thought that was hilarious. You'll have to check it out.
Yes. Uh, so this is really funny because this is the first time I'm putting like the images together. Um, so I'm gonna share my screen real quick. So this is
Wait, wait,
Keanu
uh,
Carver.
who the?
So this Keanu Carver. So this is the Evolve guy that
He
I was
looks like
talking about.
he looks like the child of Obafemi and Jacob Fatu.
Right, and this is Obafemi. They look
Oh,
so much alike. Like I can't get that out of my head.
they do. They look very
Um, and they kind of have the same gimmick. So
the ruler.
I uh, and obviously they're in this sort of indie show.
Mhm.
Things are developing and changing. So I mean I hope he's able to develop. It's just we've seen the archetype of the big black powerhouse for so long. I mean, thank you, Mark Henry. Thank you, Big E. Thank you, everyone. Obviously, but we've seen it a lot, and it's just can we do? What else can you do? Because at least with like Big E, like he was hilarious. You know what I mean? Like he had that extra layer to him that made him more than
I mean,
just
he was
you know.
he was the originator of the big meaty man slapping meat.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that video. I love it so much. Oh my god,
Yeah.
it's
And
so.
there's still a lot of that in wrestling. Like I don't think wrestling, I don't think especially WWE, but I don't think any wrestling is ever gonna lose that. Like you're gonna need it. You know what I mean? And now we have praying for a Big E return eventually, but we have Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman.
Oh, Brian
Um,
Reed's been out from since Survivor Series.
yeah, yeah. Hope he's okay.
I think
Um,
yeah, he's got I think like a ankle like a knee injury or something. But I assume he'd be back probably after WrestleMania.
yeah. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about from Evolve. I mean, I'm here for it. I like the small vibe, the indie vibe. I like seeing fresh faces that I haven't seen, and seeing how I feel about them when I get attached to them, which is kind of meh. So, or if I don't like them, so I'll and it's free wrestling, and I'm a poor minority in the states, so I can't hate on free wrestling. Um, Also, because real quick side note, Tubi has leveled up in the last several years. I will also say, I mean, they had Super Bowl ads. They got some great stuff on there now, which is very different than when I first came across them and started watching their stuff.
All I know about the stuff on Tubi are the crappy like very low budget um action movies that they've kind of or dramas that they've.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't I don't care what anybody says. Oh, Tubi actually makes some pretty good stuff. I don't care. I'm not I'm not doing it.
you gotta give it a chance. I promise.
Um,
It hits different now.
don't hold your breath. Don't hold your.
Uh, so another thing I was curious about, I've been to two wrestling shows now. Well, three. No, two. Two. So I was at the Monday Night Raw that Cody Rhodes was at for like the first time in 6 years.
Ooh,
So yeah, so they had that in the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, and I was living in Detroit at the time with my sister, uh, and her then fiance. And so I watched it, and so she was like, do you want to do this? I was like, yeah, I want to do this. So we bought tickets, and or she bought tickets for me. And me and her went, and that was
Broke.
yeah, literally. Um, but yeah, that was really awesome. So that was my first time ever doing it, and it was so weird to like not hear a commentary because even in the WWE games, I'm listening to the commentary.
Yeah.
Like I don't turn it off. Um, and commentary is really cool. And I think I've grown to appreciate. I mean, I've grown to appreciate it more in the Triple H era. Like
No.
again,
Oh
Michael Cole was another interview where he's like, "This is how it was, but this is how it is now," and
yeah.
it's just so much better. But
The Vince chains have been lifted, and now Michael Cole is actually able to talk like a person, which is
yeah,
I think Michael Cole is going to go down as one of the greatest commentators of all time. He
I
already is. He already
yeah,
is.
I love the combination of him and Pat McAfee.
Yeah, they're a good pair.
I love Pat, and I just the energy
Yeah.
that he gives is just when
Mhm.
he stands up on the table,
Oh, oh yeah.
like
When Michael Cole is dapping up
yeah,
Jay, and
it's so
like
awesome.
he has it's like a thing that it's like, okay, ready, 1, 2, 3, yeah.
Yeah,
So like he's trying so hard to make it look good.
it
I
just
so funny.
because like if they're having fun and being silly, then I can too with
Oh
the
yeah, oh yeah.
product, and
Um,
that's what I love.
there was this one incident, not yeah, I won't say call it an incident, but Vince was telling Michael something, but Michael's his mic I guess was on or something out like during commercials, I don't know. But he was like, "You want me to say this? Because I've said it a load of times already. Like, you really want me to say it? I've already talked about it 10 times on this broadcast." Everyone was like, "Ooh, uh-oh."
Mm.
And Vince probably threatened. he probably threatened him to call 10 more Ezekiel Jackson matches if he doesn't stop. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Jackson
yeah.
matches.
uh,
Oh,
hey,
oh,
speak, speaking of funny stuff, like we were gonna watch some funny like wrestling clips during this, right? Or am I crazy?
uh, potentially. So I was debating in my head because I'm
Okay.
like I have uh had some videos that were like WWE did not like them
No, yeah.
because it had their material in it.
We'll watch it after the stream.
So we'll see what happens. Yeah, but yeah. So that was my first time going to a wrestling show, and then the second time was here. They were doing a thing in the Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids. So me, my friend Angel, and a mutual friend went to go see it. And that was when Rhea Ripley came back after the injury. I forget if it was real or kayfabe, but she had like the mask on.
Oh, that was like November of last year. That was after she got her like nose busted or something.
Yeah, something like that. So I got to see her come back live. Um, uh, so that was Jade Par what's her name?
Cargill.
Jade Cargill, yes. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. I think Rhea was coming to help them, if I'm
Okay.
not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but yeah. So that was what I was into, and again, just the not having the commentary. They interact, so they were interacting with the fans in the crowd. They would like, during commercials or when they were cleaning up the ring for something, they'd be like, "Hey, show, wave your signs around because we're gonna, show them to everyone." And so they did, and they did other things like that. Um, yeah, it was really awesome. It was very different being there,
Mm.
definitely, but it was very awesome. So, question is, have you ever been to a wrestling show?
Yes, I've been to three. Years ago. I haven't been to one since like 2017, but I was at the Monday Night Raw in 2016 where Shane McMahon came back. I was there.
Mm.
I was there. Place went nuts, nuts for the guy. Um, and then for some reason Vince put him in a match with the Undertaker. That was confusing. But
Anyway, be that as it may.
SmackDown the same year, all I remember was that there was a match between AJ Styles and was it Luke Harper? That match was good. That was a great match.
Mm.
And then I was at a Monday Night Raw in 2017. I think Brock Lesnar there? I think he was. Brock Lesnar was at that Monday Night Raw, and then he was at the Raw that Shane McMahon. That was the Raw after Fastlane. So
After he got beat by Goldberg,
no.
because
Uh,
that was at Fastlane, right? Where Goldberg like beat him in a few seconds.
well, no, that was a Survivor Series. That was Brock
Oh, okay,
a minute 16 seconds, I think. 1 minute
okay.
and 30, I don't know, 30, 16, 30 some seconds. But no, that the Raw that I went to in 2017 was, I think, one of the Raws before Mania.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Gotcha.
been a long time. I might have to keep an eye out for the next wrestling show coming here so I can go to that. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, and there were some other I'm about to talk to my friend pretty soon too, cuz there's some other shows that they're going to be having in Michigan.
Mm.
And I know he's going to want to go cuz if nothing else he's going to want to see
Yeah.
Cena, or hopefully if Cena's there, he's going to want to see him. So,
Yeah. I
but yeah,
bucket
it
list is I do want to go to WrestleMania. Please,
yeah. I want to go to a good WrestleMania.
please, yes, please, please let it be a good. Imagine imagine being someone who bought a ticket to like WrestleMania 27. Imagine being that guy. Imagine being one
Mhm.
of those thousands of people who showed up to one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. Imagine watching John Cena versus The Miz, where the match ends in DQ, and then The Rock and the General Man. Oh God, the anonymous stretch the
So weird.
only for Rock to cost Cena the title. Oh God. I can't. I don't think I would be so mad. I'd be like, this is terrible. I bought $1,000 on tickets for this garbage. No.
Dude, man, yeah, spending so much money to see something flop, that's
That's
gotta suck,
I want
man.
sorry. I'd want my refund.
Yes,
God.
yeah. No, I hear you. Um,
I
yeah, I
wa-
think I've been lucky and, you know, been at the, like, Raws where, big stuff happened, obviously, Cody coming back and Rhea coming back, so, yeah, that was pretty dope.
I'm curious. How many other questions you got?
So I I did have one wrestling clip that I found. I was just scrolling through Reddit and this I just died laughing.
Okay.
It's so awesome. It's one of the best worst uh times this wrestler did this move. So I have to I will get there.
I was, I
Oh,
was I was hoping it
good.
was Steiner Maths promo, but I guess it's
Oh man, I did. Speaking of that, since you bring that up, there is someone on TikTok who's a voice actor, and he'll uh like do speeches from really popular games and movies and shows and all sorts of stuff.
you did
Um
this.
yeah, he did the Steinmath promo, but you know what's hilarious? He made it sound threatening.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I at least I think he did.
Oh, wow.
He because well, he also had like
Yeah.
music, right, to create the atmosphere, and he did edit his voice at one point. So he says when he says I'm a genetic freak, he edits his voice to sound like deeper,
Oh, that's
like
that's funny.
I'm a genetic freak. It's like,
They say y'all men are created, but I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal. See, normally when you got pretty bad match, you got a 1/3% chance of winning. But this weekend at Sacrifice, I'm twice the percentage of chance of win. I'm not even saying the promo right,
no.
but I have a 2% chance of winning. So I have a 66 and 2/3 chance. When you have these other guys who have half the talent, now they're at 16 and a half.
You know what's great though? You not remembering the promo is exactly what Steiner would do. It's great.
I know which I can. I'm pretty good at doing wrestling impersonations. I can do Macho Man pretty well. Hold on, I gotta get in the character.
I'll go for it. I have to witness
Yeah,
this
go on.
now.
Okay, all right, go on. We'll do it after.
Okay.
I can be here.
Okay. But yeah, I want to. This clip was so funny, and I've never seen this before until today. So, can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, so let me go ahead and rewind here. I will also turn the audio on. I don't know how loud this is gonna be, everyone. So, be warned. But yeah. That's that's worse than the
Oh god.
Linda McMahon
Yes.
stunner.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh god,
God.
dude, there's a video talking about like the 5 best and 5 worst stunners ever done, and there was this one where Stone Cold like stuns a bunch of referees, hits the first guy, hits the second guy, like he kicks the third guy, and then he drops, and then the ref just falls like, ugh! It was that was so. Can you? I need to watch that again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, sorry. Hold on.
rewind it.
Oh, it's so awesome. He missed so hard. I really don't know what happened. I don't know how they messed
oh,
up. Cause this is like RVD, like he's a goat. I mean, not
oh
obviously not
god.
that he can't make mistakes. Like what? Look at why did he go so high?
Oh god.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
Maybe RVD bent down too far
yeah,
too soon.
that
Yeah.
far. And then like I mean Austin probably just assumed he'd be in the right position, so he tried to grab him, but he wasn't there and then he fell and then RVD proceeds to fall. Like he got
Yeah.
my god.
No, that's the greatest stuff when like
You should look up the one that Austin did to Vince at Mania 38. That one is so
that
bad.
was rough.
But that was rough, but it was bad in like a funny, kind of like endearing way. Like even
Yeah.
oh, they're still kind of fighting. But that one was pretty terrible though. It was funny, but like, yeah, funny in a bad in a funny way. Like oh, look at Vince, he's so crazy. Um,
Yeah. Still thinking he
oh,
can take a stunner.
tried to, but
Yeah.
oh my
No, I
god.
remember that. That was wild too.
Thank you for showing me that.
Oh,
You know,
yeah. Eh,
I bet because RVD had a history of doing this, I bet he was probably high, at least a little bit.
I
I mean,
mean,
I
yeah.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, and he wasn't because of their policy, but it'd be really funny if he was.
Yeah.
Oh God.
The that's one of my favorite things is when um like your immersion as a viewer like breaks
Breaks.
when you see someone and I mean it's just hilarious. They make mistakes. Like you forgive and move on. But like when they try a move and it just completely misses
Oh yeah.
and then they have to like they're kind of it's kind of like awkwardly they have to recover somehow.
Yeah, it's like
Sometimes it works, sometimes they recover, but like
yeah.
there
Other,
was
you know.
there was the whisper in the wind that Jeff Hardy did to to Jinder Mahal, and
Oh.
he completely missed.
Oh,
I don't.
oh God.
That was, and then he just had to fall down.
Uh, uh,
uh, I don't know. I don't know who cared because I didn't know that match even happened until I saw that clip.
mhm.
Um, yeah, and I watched like a couple interviews with Jinder Mahal. That that um his interview with Chris was really cool. And like swell dude. Like that's what's up.
Yeah.
And I will say I'm glad because I'm kind of I'm all for crazy ideas, right? So I love the Undertaker. I love Kane. I love Abyss in TNA and Sting.
The,
Um, in these other Wendy, Chu, and these other characters who like it's an insane comic booky ridiculous concept,
yeah.
but it
Bray
might
Wyatt.
work,
Bray
you know.
Wyatt.
Right, Bray Wyatt. Yeah, a bunch of them. And so like I'm here for it. I'm here for the wackiness. So like having Jinder Mahal win the world title, like it, I I was like, okay, you know what? It was kind of a situation where like this might just be crazy enough to work.
But it
Cause,
did.
but it didn't. It did not work.
Okay. Here's the problem with that whole thing. Okay. I am not opposed to the idea of a jobber suddenly winning the world title, but you need to
Right.
treat it as something so crazy that like everybody is losing their marbles at the fact that a jobber who previously had only won like 6% of his matches finally in the world championship scene, and not only that, beating Randy Orton for the title. Now, the only reason that Vince was like, oh, Jinder, come here, let me tell you, at Backlash, you're gonna win the world title, and you're gonna defend it for 6 months. No time. The only reason that Vince put the title on Jinder was because of the burgeoning Indian market. That is the only reason why. Because Vince saw that the growing middle class Indian market was a potential avenue for more business. Which, hey, that's fine, right? WWE is a corporation; they're looking for profit. But they decided to make this jobber, who's Canadian, by the way. He's from not even from India. He's from Canada.
That is hilarious.
The world and treating him as such, despite again losing more than 85-90% of his matches, is buckers. And he won. He wrestled. It's not okay. It's not hard. It's not easy being enhancement talent, right? You got to make the other guy strong. Jinder Mahal had like 5 moves: punch, kick, rest hold, sing interference, and collapse. That's it.
Yeah.
All of his matches ended the same way: punch, kick, boring rest hold, sing interference, collapse. Done. That was it. What makes me so much more upset about this is what he did to Shinsuke Nakamura. That guy, Shinsuke, was my gateway to the world outside of WWE. He was awesome in NXT, and I was hoping so badly that they would just put the title on him, but they didn't. They had him lose to Jinder freaking Mahal. This guy can fight AJ Styles in the Tokyo Dome, but not Jinder freaking Mahal. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? And Jinder went on to have like a 6-month title reign where every match was boring and the same because Jinder only knew 5 freaking moves because he was a jobber. And then
Yeah, it was
on him.
it
Why?
was really weird.
Yeah. And then they had him go out and do these stupid, awful, no good, very bad promos about how Shinsuke Nakamura looked funny. Like, are you kidding?
Oh, oh.
Are you kidding? Are you
Yeah, speaking of WWE moving forward, because racism,
racism?
because like sexism is a huge issue, and that gets spotlighted because the women's revolution. But
Yeah.
racism was
Oh my
all
God.
over the company too.
Where do we even
I
start?
mean, and yeah, it popped back up when Jinder Mahal didn't want to do the promo, but it's like again,
No,
it was that thing of are you gonna say no to
of
the establishment, to Vince, right?
of course he didn't. Who in their right
So
mind would want to do that promo?
yeah,
Speaking of
yeah.
Vince, you want to talk about racism in
I never
WWE?
freaking do
Man,
like Vince,
in the
bro.
mid 2000s. Okay, for those of you, okay, I need to put my title away. For those of you watching this who aren't wrestling fans, Vince McMahon is a crazy person. This guy in the mid 2000s was on something else. This guy when ECW kind of like merged into WWE and they still had the ECW championship, this guy put the ECW World Championship on himself, and he wore a do-rag in the process. This guy put on a do-rag and said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, what's good in the hood?" And he on live television,
National,
on
international.
national television, live television, Vince goes to John and he said, "Keep it up, my."
Yeah.
Nah.
I can't. And then they literally had Booker T standing there, because it pans to him at the end of the segment and stuff. So Devon Dudley and Maven had a great video, where again, great Maven's great YouTuber. Devon Dudley though is also a really good wrestling YouTuber.
Yes. Ah.
Yeah. But they did a video where they just reacted to like racist moments in the WWE. And yeah, Devon talked about how he doesn't name names. I wish he would. But maybe that's just me. Like there were people who had a problem with him because he was black, which is like really crazy. I mean, it's not crazy in the sense that we could have a whole conversation about racism and blah blah blah, but kind of crazy because at this point we had Ahmad Johnson, we had The Rock, like we had Mark Henry,
Yeah.
like that. There shouldn't have been room. There shouldn't have been room for that sort of thing. And by the time Devon Dudley's getting there, like it's weird.
Yeah, yeah,
That
Ron.
said, people in the higher ups were still um like very explicitly like we don't like you because you're black.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, there's another one. Okay, so 2003, Booker T and Triple H. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, yeah,
I don't know whose idea it was to have this storyline, but whose ever idea it was, you know, you should be barred from wrestling create.
yeah,
Triple H. Okay, so Triple H and Booker T have this world title feud going into WrestleMania. Triple H says something along the lines of something like, "You people should be carrying my bags," or something like that. And
yeah,
what does creative do to give Booker T his get back? Nothing. He loses at WrestleMania.
yeah.
Loses.
My
I,
their
screw you. I'm sorry. No,
yeah.
that's too much.
When
I
I
don't.
heard about that, um, from the video that I did watch about that a while back, it was said that Triple H said that he uh, that was supposed to be about the fact that he was a WCW guy who came to WWE, and not that I'm
They
the
didn't make that. They,
they did not. And the
oh,
skeptical part of my brain and the optimistic part of my brain are like fighting each other right now. But I will say that if it wasn't the fact that he was black, it was definitely the fact that he was a WCW wrestler, like former WC. Like he was treated horribly. That's why like Sting has very publicly stated he after seeing the way that Booker T, Diamond Dallas Page were treated in WWE, he
oh,
wasn't gonna go over there.
all of the WCW guys were treated bad because
Yeah,
you know
because they're from the rival company. But
Vince.
here we are having phenomenal matches with TNA now. It's
Yeah,
awesome. But
See Vince. You know what happens? You know what happens when you treat your competition's talent like garbage? You know what happens? Guess what?
you lose Sting. Sting retired outside the WWE. Like that sucks.
wait. Keep. Oh God.
But
I'm
yeah, I
amazed that AJ Styles in his debut year won the world championship. I am shocked. I'm still shocked at that because he was Mr. TNA.
yeah,
He won and
yeah.
he won
It spent a long time in
this.
Japan. Yeah,
And AJ's a go. I love AJ.
yeah,
But
Same.
Do you have any more questions?
So there was one more clip I want to show, and then yeah, one more question.
Yeah.
Uh, so I just have to show this because it's definitely one of my favorites. Let me see here. Oh man. But yeah, definitely go check out Maven. Go check out the video that him and Devon did about the racism in WWE. I I think it got a little more attention during the pandemic because of everything that happened during the pandemic.
Yeah.
But
What?
because like I mean at that point you had I mean Bobby Lashley became uh uh I think he became WWE champion during the pandemic at some point, yeah.
He won the,
Um
yeah, he became like a 2, 3 time WWE champion in the span of
he,
a year, or no,
yeah.
2 years, maybe. I don't know.
It was
But
something like that. And I actually remember. I think it was the Hurt Business that came out with like BLM stuff on their entire like regardless of however you feel about all that, it is still that is a step, a very interesting step given what we just talked about and given what happened in the
yeah,
past.
you want to even more up? Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Bobby Lashley all lost the title to Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, they,
Kofi
yeah,
Kingston lost it in 6 seconds, and he never challenged for it again.
yeah,
On
yeah. Oh,
like worst moment in the company's history.
it's
Atrocious. It
yeah,
is.
yeah. It was
Like,
weird.
Kofi didn't have that great of a run, but how dare they end it like that? And on the debut episode of Fox too.
Yep, I remember watching that because my family could watch Fox for free. And we could watch it at the time. So, yeah, I remember
Yeah.
seeing that. I was not happy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
this is hilarious. I forgot this was at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Braun Strowman won a 50-man battle royal or 50-man Royal Rumble at this pay-per-view,
Nobody talks about
and
it.
nobody
Nobody,
cares. Nobody talks about it. Nobody cares.
nobody cared.
It's kinda it's unfortunate, and because it didn't even matter, he didn't even get a
No,
title shot at Mania, it was just
no. He won. He won a green, ugly wrestling belt that was never seen again. Never seen again.
yeah.
Oh God. And the Saudis actually they wanted Yokozuna, who had been dead.
Oh, I heard
Kidding. They Yokozuna in the Royal Rumble, even though he had been dead for like 20 years at this point. Got like a sumo guy, and they just were like, "Hey, he's like Yokozuna, like this, like this."
Yeah, I
What was his name? Prince Abdul or something? You like this, Prince Abdul? You like that? We have the best wrestlers in the world. Ah.
yeah, I will never understand that. But anyway, uh, I don't even know what else happened at this pay-per-view, but be it as it may, this is hilarious.
Already powering through, going up top. And a whisper in the wind.
Oh,
I don't think Jeff Hardy connected at all. Maybe it was a
stop.
Correct. I don't think
the whisper in the wind.
Oh man.
My God.
So, you know, uh, uh, so obviously Jeff Hardy's the GOAT. This is not shade. I appreciate Jinder Mahal. This is not shade, but that is funny.
That was so.
Oh, that is pretty funny. It is awesome. And yeah, obviously I'm not a wrestler. Um, so I don't know, but like I feel like if it doesn't connect, then just like sell it as a miss.
Literally,
You know what I mean? Like
like
just
Jinder
like
could,
go for the cover or do
yeah,
something. Be
Jinder
like, oh my goodness,
could,
he missed a
dude,
shot. Take
yeah,
advantage of it as the heel.
literally, Jinder could have easily like moved his arms like that way, like kind of pushing him, and then gone for a cover. But oh my,
Yeah, yeah.
but hey, that wasn't the
But I
fun.
mean, yeah. In hindsight's always 2020, right?
That
So
wasn't even the funniest moment of that night. It was Titus O'Neil sliding underneath the ring.
Oh, that happened on the same night. I have to play that clip too. I am so
Oh my
sorry.
god, legendary.
Uh, I mean, it's been played to death, but
Yeah,
like
but play it again.
it
We're-
did. uh, it became a GIF apparently.
Titus World Slide, baby.
Titus World Slide. That is so perfect.
I'm gonna go throw this out real quick.
Okay. Oh man, Titus World Slide. I'm dead, bro. That is hilarious.
This is number 39.
I hope
into the
WWE
Rumble.
doesn't come at me
39
for
men.
playing this clip in my live stream.
And the leader
Hold on. Let me go back just real fast.
into the Rumble. 39.
So who's it? Is that Heath Slater?
Okay, hold on. I gotta okay, so we got Heath Slater because he's got the that's Heath. That's
Kind of long-haired Baron Corbin. Biggie, Daniel Bryan's there.
Brian.
The Miz might be in
hold on.
front of him.
The guy on the left, that's 619. That's Ray. That looks like maybe Miz. I don't know. Is that?
Yeah.
That's not Braun Strowman. That's some guy.
Yeah. I don't know. Might this have been Commander Aziz?
You may be right. You may
Just
be
not that gimmick. I could be wrong, but
Men.
I can't.
And the leader.
I can't tell.
Titus.
No, that was Randy Orton
No, that wasn't.
in front of Daniel Bryan. I think I think that was Orton.
The leader.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's
the tattoos.
I thought you were talking about the guy in the.
Oh no. Definitely not.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Yep.
The way they shift the camera position, the way he just disappears kills me.
Man.
But this is really funny, but he actually could have been seriously hurt because he slides and then he just misses a vertical bar.
No, I was just gonna say he could have actually died.
Oh, he could have actually died
because his head would have went straight into something hard, and there was no all of this.
All of this, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. But hey, that's his legacy. Titus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was man. I'm dead. So, real quick, before we go, what do we want to see in professional wrestling in the next 5 years? So, it can be any number of things. For me, I want to see a Survivor Series match a Survivor Series pay-per-view. Like the entire pay-per-view is themed after either Raw, not Raw versus SmackDown, NXT versus TNA, or we do Raw versus SmackDown and NXT versus TNA. I think that would be dope. Or even if it's just an NXT pay-per-view, but if the whole pay-per-view is just that, I'd be here for it. I want so bad to see that split in the crowd between NXT and TNA. I want, if they're going to do what they're doing now. I mean, they're already having matches. Moose just fought Oba Femi. Praxium just fought the Hardy Boys for the TNA Tag Team Championship.
AEW.
So that's not impossible. So if everyone can have good relationships, I think that would be really really awesome. And even more awesome if WWE lets NXT get beat. Cause they had way back, obviously we had the WCW versus WWE pay per view, where the entire I forget what it was called.
The
The
invasion.
the entire pay per view was just that. But I think WWE won that, and
Oh,
by a landslide, I think.
that pay-per-view was a giant missed opportunity.
Yeah.
That they decided.
So imagine if they could run it back, but it's TNA and NXT actually loses.
And actually, good.
Yeah, yeah.
But okay, that's good. I like that. I have a few, but I can get through them pretty quickly. Jacob Fatu becomes the tribal chief
Oh,
and ushers in his own wave of the bloodline because
okay.
I see Jacob Fatu dominating in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I also want to see him and Braun Breaker go at it. Like, oh, who?
Oh,
Dog,
yeah.
werewolf?
Yes.
Yes. Big meaty men slapping meat. Well, so I want to see that. I want to see. Cody versus Rock. It's gotta.
We gotta at some point we gotta do it.
Yep. And I want to see Cody versus Randy as Randy's final feud before he retires.
Uh,
Like that for me,
that's fair. That's
Cody
fair. Yeah.
the end game. That's more than Rock because Cody and Randy have this history. And I
Yeah.
think Cody retiring Randy and maybe turning heel in the process.
Yeah.
That could
Yeah. Would
Cody.
you rather have heel Rock versus face Cody or heel Cody versus face Rock?
Oh, face Cody versus heel Rock. Rock's doing some of the best work in the company that he's done in, I don't know, probably since his Hollywood Rock era as the final
Yeah.
boss. I want to see um ooh. I want something for the women's division. I want to see
So uh,
one and like this is a pipe dream at this point, but I would like Mercedes Moné to come back so we can have that actual four horsewomen fatal four way. Because I know the four horsewomen, they've still got a few years left, but they are starting to kind of become the. I mean, they already are at this point. They're the old guard, right?
yeah.
Women coming in. I need to see that fatal four way at least once. Have it like you could have that main event WrestleMania. Like it's that big of a match. You don't need, nothing needs to be on the line. You just have those four women go to go
Yeah.
put on a show. Uh
I would agree with you there. I
yep.
think for women, I want a female legacy. I have said this for years. There is no reason not to do it. You still
No,
have Natalia Neidhart there. Nia Jax is related to The Rock. When Tamina was there, Tamina Snuka,
yeah.
right? Um, who else? I mean, if Ava ever wants to get in the ring, I don't know if she ever will.
Uh,
The GM for
yeah.
TNA or TNA, the GM for NXT. But
And,
that could be fun.
yeah. Ooh, yeah, that would be good. I want to see
Charlotte Flair obviously needs to be in that. Like, we need a strong female stable
like
like
that.
we've had with the men. We still I like the Riot Squad wasn't it.
No.
Uh
Oh,
uh uh uh
have,
uh
have Charlotte assemble like a queen's court.
ooh, and it's that would be dope. Or
What
or if the four horsewomen did a stable. Yeah,
what if
something like that, but like a
yeah, I already see one. I mean, a queen needs her prodigy. You could pair her up with Roxanne Perez.
oh,
I'd love to see that.
yeah.
I want to see Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill. That's another big one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's got to happen eventually.
it's got to happen eventually, and if it does, it's got to be declared like a national black holiday. Like it needs it.
Yeah, this is true. Yes, it does. Because I mean, and they're so much alike. We were talking about mixed gender matches before. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill both are other women where like I fully believe they would beat up most of the men they would fight.
Oh, have you seen Jade? Yeah.
Dude, Jade, hear me out. Hear me out. Jade Cargill versus Brock Lesnar. Hear me out. Hear
And
me out. That'd be awesome.
uh, but yeah, no, Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill needs to happen. It could again that could main event WrestleMania. Like that's such a huge match. Not just for like those two, but like for Jade, because she is really coming to like as a singles like the decision to pair her up with Bianca was perfect.
Yeah,
Because
great
now Jade
decision.
Cargill is ready for that thing.
I felt for a long time that the women's tag division was just so random.
Mm-hmm.
Like the pairings were just so random. But yeah, Jade and Bianca would you look at those two together and you're just like, yes. Just yeah. They're
Show people that like when I talk to people about how I like wrestling, I'm like, dude, like the female wrestlers are like they really beautiful, you know? And they're like, well,
right.
and I usually almost every time show them Jade Cargill, and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
because Jade Cargill looks like she's carved out of marble. When she came to
Yes.
the Elimination Chamber and she came out with like her black attire, I'm like,
Yeah. I've been watching her for a while because I'm gonna look this up, but if memory serves me correctly, uh Jade Cargill had a match in AEW where she teamed up with Shaq to fight Cody Rhodes and Cody Rhodes' wife. I
Right.
forget
Yeah,
the her.
you're right. And like Cody dived off the like over the top rope and hit Shaq, and they went through a table.
Yeah.
Super
Yep.
random.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is
it's
so
like that's why I also love wrestling because it is so random sometimes. Why is Travis Scott there?
random.
Why is Travis
Yeah.
Scott there? Why is he aura farming? Why does he slap the hell out of Cody, dude?
It's the
He winged it up like
no, he did because that's the reason why Cody had the black eye.
yes, because
Yeah.
of Travis Scott.
Yeah. Oh man. I yeah, I don't know. He said in the press conference that it was like to demonstrate aura and star power, like having like the most followed man on social media on earth
Yeah,
and one of the most popular music artists on earth
yeah,
together in like a very serious, way. I mean, and I
yeah.
fair enough.
They got to bring in Kendrick Lamar and
They
like
got to Can
you
we
have
can we get The Rock versus
how
Kanye West?
yeah Kanye.
Can we get the-
Wait, you know what? You know what they should do? They should have who should they have? They should have Dominic Mysterio and Drake.
Oh,
They can fight. So they like I don't know, CM Punk and Kendrick Lamar. Like I want to make it trips, make it happen. Rock. See,
John Cena versus Eminem.
I want to see Kendrick Lamar do a Canadian Destroyer. I know he can do it like Bad Bunny did.
Yeah, we have Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny.
Sure, yeah. Why not? Let's put Mr. Beast in the ring with Braun Breaker. I bet.
Please,
Yeah,
can we get Braun Breaker to spear Mr. Beast?
and then a bunch of money just comes.
That
Oh god.
I'm wrestling can be really ridiculous
Oh yeah.
sometimes, and
Yeah.
I'm here
I'm
for it,
here.
man.
I'm here for it. I want to see. I want to see. Put Speed in the ring with Obafemi. I want to see what happens.
Oh, dude.
Speed will make that one face he does. Was like, oh, oh.
Yeah. Oh, that would be epic.
Yeah.
Um, I thought, speaking of WrestleMania, I thought we were gonna get AJ Styles versus Braun Breaker because AJ Styles came back and Braun Breaker and him had a conflict, but I guess they switched it. And I Braun Breaker versus Finn Balor, fire,
I know
but I wanted it to be Styles.
Braun versus Finn is going to be at Raw in Brussels next week. It's going to be Logan versus AJ at WrestleMania for sure. Which hey,
Yeah,
that
which
match is good. I mean, I have full faith in that match being an exciting.
I do, and I hope I think AJ's because he talked about this on an interview. AJ's like the kind of person who can get a good wrestling match out of anyone,
Yeah.
and I definitely think he'll be able to get out of Logan Paul. And I hope like Logan Paul can learn from Styles
Oh yeah.
because
I,
because like he's not like he's athletic
yeah.
and I mean he has a heel character, which honestly a lot of that comes from real life stuff, not his
Yeah.
character.
I don't think I respect Logan Paul for being as good as he is in the ring. Like at this point, he's a good wrestler, you know. But people don't like him because he's a good heel. They don't like him because they don't like him. They don't like him as a person. Like
Yeah,
yeah, at this
yeah,
point. So, and they just
yeah,
want people to see him. They just want to see people kick his ass. Um,
yeah.
but yeah,
So that would be fun. But yeah,
the
yeah. So
the Paul brothers versus the Hardy Boys.
oh. Yeah, it could happen.
Hey,
I mean, hell has frozen over more than once in
multiple,
professional wrestling. CM
multiple.
Punk came back.
Yeah, CM
You know
Punk,
what I mean? So
John Cena turned heel.
yeah,
Those two things people thought would never
Stone Cold Steve Austin came out of retirement to
happen.
fight Kevin Owens.
Whole bar match where he took a bump on concrete.
Yeah,
Anything's possible.
yeah. So, but
Jeez.
yeah, yeah, thank you so much. This has been a really fun and awesome conversation.
Uh,
A lot of clippable stuff. I'm glad that, like I said, I'm glad to be able to like do a live stream about wrestling because I've
yeah.
been wanting to do that. Now I just need to do some kind of long form video about it because I've done obviously like recording on my phone and stuff, but I mean like here like 10 or plus minutes
You
just
could
talking
like
about something
you
about
could,
wrestling.
yeah. You could review like Raw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I could, but WWE already got that because they did the what's the show? The podcast that they came out with
Oh
where
yeah.
they're gonna have yeah.
Raw.
So and then before that they had the bump. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. The bump.
yeah.
You,
Um.
you should. Ooh, I have a reaction channel for you that you should check out. They're just funny. They react to wrestling, but they do like a bunch of other stuff that I think
Yeah.
they're called In the Clutch Entertainment with Ross and I don't know what the other guy's name is, but they react to wrestling and they also react to like stuff in general. They're quite funny. Ross's reactions when anything crazy happens, it's funny every time. I'll send you one of their reels when we're done here because
Nice.
I think
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I would love to check that out. But yeah, thanks again for joining me. There's so much to talk about in wrestling, so
oh
we actually got through a lot of topics, which is really nice. Um, is there anything else you want to say, do, plug, before we close out today?
let's see. Hmm. Well, you see here, buddy. This
I knew you were gonna.
thing against Hulk Hogan for the world. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. Hulk Hogan, he used to be my brother. He used to be my best friend. I was gonna invite him to my wedding with Elizabeth, but
That is pretty
Hulk
good.
Hogan crossed the line here, Mean Gene. Hulk Hogan talked to my woman, talked to my Elizabeth, and now she's in the hospital due to injury, man. And Hulk Hogan, you crossed the line, man. You crossed the line, and Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh yeah, Hulk Hogan, Hulkster, buddy. You don't know what's coming for you. This Saturday is Saturday night's main event, man.
Of course, it's that.
I'm
It's
gonna
been a
beat
minute.
you so bad you won't be able to see straight for the next 2 months. Oh yeah, dig it.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty.
It's such a fever. Just random aside, it is such a fever dream to watch the first Spider-Man movie and see Macho Man Randy Savage after because I watched that as a kid, didn't know who he was. Now I'm a wrestling fan. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
you're here. Triple H was in Blade
you ain't
Trinity.
going. Yeah, you ain't going nowhere. I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of hate time. What are
So
you doing up there? Staying away from you. Cute outfit? Did your husband give it to you?
the fact that they edited that out of
I think,
release of the movie
yeah,
was really
that
interesting.
joke hasn't aged quite well.
No,
But it's
no, it
still,
is not.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah. But
but
hey,
yeah.
Thank you for having me on here. These are each one has been fun. Uh, even the Spider-Man Lotus one that
Yeah,
was
that was.
fun.
Yeah, y'all gotta go check that out. That
Yeah.
was very
Hey,
fun.
if you ever want to talk about wrestling or like anything in general, I'm always down. Like these have been a lot of fun. We could talk about Invincible next time because season 3 just ended, and let me tell you something. Let me tell
So
you something, brother. Invincible's good. Invincible
I
good.
yeah, so I've seen the 2 seasons. I want me and my roommate to jump on the 3rd. So
It
we'll
just
definitely we'll definitely get to
watch
that.
it. Yes.
Well, real quick, did you see the spinoff
Adam
with
Eve. Yes, I did.
yeah.
I enjoyed
Okay,
it.
I no spoilers, but did you enjoy it?
I
Yeah.
did a lot, dude. Like it's so weird because like you have an hour-long special about one character, and like we'll save for next time. I could talk about this
Yeah.
all day. But again, thank you. This was so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone who was watching. If you enjoy this and you enjoy wrestling, I'll definitely be talking about it. It's definitely going through a renaissance period, and I could not be, have not been more excited to be a wrestling fan than I have been in the last 2, 3 years. So, thank you everyone who has joined me for this. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do all that fun YouTube plug stuff. And I will make sure that his Instagram and my link tree, if it's not already there, will all be there in the description so you guys can check out other content. As you can tell from the intro and other things, we do a lot on this channel. So something I'm sure will capture your interest. But thanks again. Thank you again, Ryan, for joining me for this.